The world is a massive and beautiful place, and humans have been exploring it for several 100,000 years at this point. During that vast amount of time, there have been plenty of things discovered that we're unable to fully explain. Scientists have done their best to figure out everything about the planet we live on, but despite their best efforts, there are always going to be some things that just weren't made for human beings to understand. From mysterious fairy circles in Africa to a canyon that looks like it's from a Dr. Seuss novel, there have been some truly shocking discoveries on Earth throughout the past several centuries. Make sure to stick around until the end. You wouldn't want to miss the real-life forest from Avatar. Here are 15 shocking discoveries that you won't believe exist. Number 15. The color-changing lake. Lake Retba, otherwise known as Lac Rose, lies north of the Cap Vert Peninsula of Senegal, some 30 kilometers to the northeast of Dakar in the northwest of the country. The lake gets its name from its pink waters, caused by Dunaliella salina, a pink algae that makes its home within the waters, and is known for its high salt content. Lake Retba is separated from the Atlantic by a narrow strip of dunes, and its maximum depth is around 10 feet. The water is hypersaline, with salinity levels comparable to those of the Dead Sea and around 1/3 the level of ocean water. The salinity levels also vary with changes in weather and temperature, as well as the amount of fresh water flowing into the lake. Lac Rose is home to a small population of people who harvest salt there. They use traditional methods to harvest the salt from the bottom of the lake. The harvest season starts in October and ends in May, and during this period, the water in the lake evaporates, leaving a thick layer of salt on the floor. This is harvested using long rakes and then transported by boat to shore, where it's dried in the sun and sold in local markets. The salt produced in Lac Rose is considered to be of high quality and is used to season food, as well as for cosmetic and medicinal purposes. Number 14. Fingals Cave. Fingals Cave is a sea cave on the uninhabited island of Staffa in the Inner Hebrides of Scotland. It's formed entirely from hexagonally jointed basalt columns, similar in structure to the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. In 1772, the cave was visited by Joseph Banks, who noted its similarities to the Giant's Causeway. Later that year, the cave was visited by the Welsh bard Thomas Pennant. In his tour of Scotland, Pennant wrote, "In this cave, nature seems to have worked with a gigantic chisel. The roof and sides are composed of vast arches springing from pillars of rude sculpture which support a vast concavity." The cave's columnar basalt formation is the result of an ancient lava flow. The lava cooled and contracted as it did so, creating the hexagonal columns seen today. The cave is 120 meters, or 390 feet long, and has a maximum height of 23 meters, or 75 feet. The cave is part of a 55-hectare UNESCO World Heritage Site, which also includes the neighboring Isle of Inchkenneth. Number 13. Sunken Prison. Patare Prison, also called the Sea Fortress of Patare, is a former sea fortress and prison in Tallinn, Estonia. It was built between 1828 and 1840 as part of a chain of sea fortresses meant to defend the Russian Empire's western borders. The fortress was used as a prison from 1919 to 2004 and operated as a Soviet-led prison from 1945 until Estonia regained its independence in 1991. After Estonia regained its independence, the prison was used for a short time for civil prisoners, but it was closed in 2004. The prison is now a museum, and its premises are open to the public. The only way it can be reached, however, is by boat, and there was a brief period of time where the waters got so high that various sections of the prison were entirely submerged underwater. Luckily, there weren't any people inside when this happened, but it goes to show how dangerous it can be operating a prison surrounded by water. Number 12. The most dangerous springs. Jacob's Well is a watering hole in the Texas Hill Country. The well is a popular swimming hole and has been used extensively for diving, considering how far down it leads and how easy it is to gear up for the excursion. It's located in Hays County, just outside of Wimberley, Texas. The well is on the property of the Jacob's Well Natural Area, which is managed by the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. Jacob's Well is a karst spring that is fed by the Edwards Aquifer and is about 30 feet deep with a diameter of about 10 feet. The water in the well is crystal clear and has a constant temperature of about 72 degrees Fahrenheit, which makes it lovely on a hot summer day. The well is named after Jacob, the biblical patriarch who is said to have watered his flock at a similar spring in the Middle East. Despite this, the well has actually resulted in several deaths throughout the years as people go too far down or get lost in the caves near the bottom. Signs are now clearly posted warning people of the dangers, and yet people continue to swim within it. Just be careful. Number 11. Mysterious African fairy circles. African fairy circles are mysterious patterns that occur naturally in the arid grasslands of southern Africa. These circles, which are typically 3 to 50 feet in diameter, are characterized by their near-perfect circular shape and the fact that they're almost always surrounded by a ring of taller grass. African fairy circles are found in Namibia, Botswana, and South Africa. The cause of African fairy circles is still a matter of debate. Some scientists believe that they're created by termites that eat the grass in a circular pattern. Others believe that they're formed by a type of sand dune that moves across the landscape. Still others believe that they're the result of natural selection, with the grass around the edges of the circles being better adapted to the arid conditions. Because the cause is not fully understood, however, there have been plenty more conspiracy theories that claim the circles are extraterrestrial in nature. While this can't be verified, it's still definitely something to think about in regards to these strange circles. Number 10. The Dismal Canyon. Dismal Canyon is a canyon located in the Dismal Swamp in Baldwin County, Alabama. It's a tributary of the Perdido River. The canyon is located in the Dismal Swamp, which is the largest freshwater wetland in the eastern United States. The swamp covers approximately 1.4 million acres in Alabama, Florida, and North Carolina. It's a popular recreation area for hiking, camping, canoeing, and fishing. The canyon is named for its dark and dreary appearance, as it's one of the deepest canyons in the eastern United States, reaching a depth of 400 feet. The canyon is home to a variety of plant and animal life, including several rare and endangered species. It's also home, however, to the site of several Revolutionary War skirmishes and battles. This leads to the place having an even more dreary atmosphere, as the knowledge of hundreds of deaths weighs upon anybody who visits. Number 9. The Hidden Churches of Ethiopia. The Lalibela churches are a group of 11 monolithic churches in Lalibela, Ethiopia. They're located in two distinct groups. One consists of 4 churches cut from a single rock, and the other 7 churches which are carved into the ground. The Lalibela churches are believed to have been built during the reign of King Lalibela in the late 12th and early 13th centuries. They're thought to have been constructed in response to a challenge from the King of Jerusalem.
It's about 9 a.m. this morning. We're here at the most famous church here in Lalibela,
who challenged King Lalibela to build churches that were more impressive than those in his own kingdom. The Lalibela churches are some of the most important religious sites in Ethiopia and are a major tourist attraction. They're also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The churches are made from a type of rock known as tufa, which is a soft volcanic rock. This is what allowed the builders to construct them using nothing but hand tools, which is an incredibly impressive feat given the time. Number 8. Jacques Cousteau's Underwater Village. Jacques Cousteau's underwater village was an experimental underwater habitat located off the coast of Malta in the Mediterranean Sea. The village was in operation for 2 weeks in February and March of 1963. The village was made up of 2 main structures, each with its own living quarters, laboratory, and workspace. There was also a central dining area and kitchen. The village had its own power and water supply, and a decompression chamber was on hand in case of emergency. The residents of the village were a team of 18 scientists and engineers from various countries. They conducted experiments on oceanography, marine biology, and underwater welding, among other things. The village was open to the public for tours during its 2-week operation, and it was the first time that most people had ever seen an underwater habitat. The village was later dismantled, and the structures were used for other purposes. However, the legacy of Jacques Cousteau's underwater village lives on in the many underwater habitats that have been built since. Number 7. Arizona's rock waves. If you're ever in central Arizona and enjoy seeing fantastical natural wonders, then the rock waves are definitely something you'd be interested in. Formed over millions of years through different processes of erosion, these beautiful structures almost seem like they'd be more at home on an alien planet. The rock is perfectly smooth to the touch and resembles ocean waves arcing up into the sky, despite the fact that they remain perfectly still.
Shallow.
Yeah, shallow, but still, it's those things you gotta watch because it's really easy to
It's unknown exactly what caused these structures to form in terms of erosion processes, but one hypothesis states that the waves were regularly hitting the rocks in the exact same spots for a very long period of time, effectively carving their shape into it. Overall, it's an absolutely gorgeous place to visit and has become one of the most popular tourist attractions in the entire state. Number 6. Bioluminescent Waves. Bioluminescent waves are waves of water containing bright light that's produced by bioluminescent organisms. These waves are usually blue or green in color and can be seen in the ocean at night, depending on where in the world you are. These waves are created when the organisms that produce them are disturbed, such as when a fish swims through a school of them or when a human sticks their hand into the water. The light is produced by a chemical reaction that occurs within the organism and is used to startle predators or attract mates. Many people have posted videos of these waves online, and people often claim that they're fake, but this is not the case. They're just a particularly rare phenomenon that has only been observed in a couple places throughout the world. These locations, however, immediately become incredibly attractive to tourists, so there are generally gorgeous resorts and massive beach mansions built on the property, making these beautiful waves difficult to access for the general public.
Before we go on, do like this video, smash that subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now, or the centipede will crawl on your face while you're sleeping.
It's time for today's subscriber pick. This bizarre image seems to depict some sort of skeleton standing on its own near a cave or some kind of rocky outcropping. It doesn't appear to be held up by anything, and it also seems to be looking directly towards the camera, as though it noticed it and is walking towards it. The way that it's holding its arms is also quite peculiar, as if it's trying to ask if the person recording wants to fight. There's very little context paired with the image, and finding any information on whose skeleton it could be has proven practically impossible. Whether or not the skeleton is animated and moving around is obviously impossible to tell from a single image, but considering the odd way it's posed, it's very likely that it could have been moving. Why do you think this skeleton is here? And who do you think it belongs to? Do you think that it was potentially moving before the picture was taken? Remember to comment down below with the hashtag subscriberpic and let us know what you think. Now, on to the next topic. Number 5. The oldest lake on the planet. Lake Baikal is an incredible location deep within Russia, considering it's both the world's oldest and the world's largest freshwater lake. Its depth is the greatest of any lake ever observed, at roughly 1,700 meters. The length of this lake is about 1,637 kilometers, and the width is about 79 kilometers. Lake Baikal also contains roughly 20% of all unfrozen freshwater resources on the Earth's surface, making it an incredibly important resource for human beings. It's home to more than 1,700 species of animals and plants, 2/3 of which are found nowhere else in the world. This precious resource of water, together with its unique flora and fauna, make Lake Baikal a world-famous natural heritage site. Lake Baikal is a rift valley, meaning that it has a fairly crescent-shaped pattern. Its water is also crystal clear, meaning it's actually quite eerie to look down into it because of how deep it goes. However, it's one of the most geographically isolated lakes in the world, considering how far north in Siberia it's located. Because of this, it's actually been fairly difficult for scientists to study, and we've only just begun to understand its importance in recent years. Number 4. Dr. Seuss's Canyon. Antelope Canyon is a very popular slot canyon located on Navajo land east of Page, Arizona. The slot canyon is a narrow, deep canyon formed by the wear of water rushing through rock. These slot canyons are found in a variety of places, but most are found in the arid regions of the southwestern United States, southern Africa, and Australia. Due to their extreme narrowness, many slot canyons are only accessible by foot. Antelope Canyon is one of the most popular slot canyons in the world and is a popular destination for photographers from all over the globe. It's also one of the most dangerous slot canyons in the world. With flash floods killing tens of people routinely throughout the years, the National Park System has actually restricted access to the canyon, and now it's only accessible via guided tours. The canyon is so popular because the light filters through its ceiling in beautiful ways, giving any photographs taken within its borders a unique and gorgeous feel that's unobtainable anywhere else in the world. Number 3. Morning Glory Pool. The Morning Glory Pool, also known as the Grand Prismatic Spring, is the largest hot spring in the United States and the third largest in the world, after Frying Pan Lake in New Zealand and Boiling Lake in Dominica. It's located in the Midway Geyser Basin within Yellowstone National Park. The spring gets its name from its striking coloration. Its center is a deep blue, surrounded by a ring of light blue, then yellow, orange, and red. The colors in the spring are the result of microbial mats around the edges of the mineral-rich water. The mats produce colors ranging from green to red, and the amount of color depends on the depth of the spring, the amount of sunlight, and the temperature. The spring is approximately 370 feet in diameter and 120 feet deep. It's fed by a subterranean river that's heated by the Earth's hot interior. The water in the spring is approximately 212 degrees Fahrenheit, keeping it just on the edge of boiling at all times. You definitely don't want to touch this water. Number 2. The Mirror of the World. The world's largest salt flat, Salar de Uyuni, is located in southwest Bolivia near the crest of the Andes. At 3,700 square miles, the salt flat is so vast that it's believed to be the largest mirror on the planet. When it rains enough, the salt flat is covered with a layer of water that becomes so still it reflects the sky. People have taken advantage of this, of course, and it's become one of the most popular photography locations in the entire world. The best time to visit is between November and March, because outside of that, the salt flat is generally dry and non-reflective. This is a protected area, of course, and you'll need to be on a paid tour in order to access them. These tours, unfortunately, are not cheap and generally cost roughly $150 per person. Despite this, it's still one of the most gorgeous locations in the world, and in real life, it's shocking to see a mirror so massive that it reflects the entire sky. Number 1. The Avatar Forest. If you've ever watched the movie Avatar, you're likely aware of just how gorgeous the forests were within the film. But did you know that those gorgeous forests were based off a real place? Zhangjiajie National Forest Park covers an area of nearly 480 square kilometers and is the first national forest park of China. The park is characterized by mountains, forests, and rivers. The mountains are steep, the forests are dense and lush, and the rivers are clear and flowing, contributing to an absolutely beautiful atmosphere that many tourists have commented on. Here, there are many beautiful natural landscapes, including the Golden Whip Stream, the Yuanjiajie Column, the Huangshi Village, the Tianzi Mountain, the Huanglongdong, the 10-Mile Gallery, and so on. Among them, the Golden Whip Stream is the most famous. The Golden Whip Stream is a valley between two mountains, which is about 4 kilometers long.
That you can take instead of hiking? Kind.
The valley is full of trees and flowers, with many strange rocks and peaks in the valley. With the steep mountains and high cliffs, this location is generally what the forests in Avatar were based off of. And from the video you're watching right now, it's pretty easy to see why. Which of these things do you think is the most shocking? Do you think scientists will ever fully understand all of these shocking discoveries that have been found throughout the world? Tell us in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps us to understand what kind of videos you enjoy, and that way we can tell what kind of topics you're looking for next. Tap that bell icon if you're always looking to learn new things, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.